Why the hell do I work on cars? They just get painful every time. Cool, I'm getting fouling here, or if I run them across the top, they're fouling on here, and they're fouling on the inside of the wheel when you're on the other opposite lock. I'm just... So yeah, basically, front brake lines on the 350Z, we're going to be removing this rubber piece and this steel section. Braided lines do not have this piece here, so it effectively eradicates all of that. Before we get started, there's just a few things I've used doing this that I think you guys really need to sort of be wary of. WD-40 penetrant oil is your friend, so is a blowtorch. Obviously, you're going to need some brake fluid, that sort of, you know, user manual, whichever 350Z you've got. You're going to need a decent socket set, and the most important thing for working on brake lines is a flare nut spanner set. These are lifesavers when you come to the really rusty, crusty little flare nuts on brake lines. And obviously, as well, you're probably going to need just your generic spanners. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into this. I'm going to be showing you how to do it with basically a way that sort of tries to lose as little brake fluid as possible. So yeah, the front brake lines. Crusty, rusty, and definitely in need of attention. I'm going to start by coating all the fasteners in WD-40's penetrating fluid. Then using a 10mm flare nut spanner, I crack loose the hardline flare nut, because if you can't get this undone, then there is literally no point in continuing. Now I'm giving all the fasteners a quick bit of heat from the blowtorch. Then I can crack them loose and remove. I'm being extra careful not to snap anything. Undo, then retighten, then undo again to break that rust seal. I then crack off the bleed screws on the calipers, as again, if you can't bleed the brakes, there's no point in continuing. So I'm also going to replace them with new bleed screws while I'm at it. Then there's this one at the back, and you can use a hose clamp to clamp onto the brake line, and this should help stop fluid escaping. It's hard to film behind the caliper, but you need to undo the hard line, but it's at this point they snap, inevitably, so be mindful of that. Then slide the pipe off and you can see the brake and just how rusty it all is down there. Now working backwards, attach the new line to the caliper, and I've got to be honest, it's at this point I begin to running into fitment issues. The only way to mount them is use the old bolt hole and use one of these cheap fastener clips that was included. But I felt as if they would rub, so I stacked some washers on behind to space it out a bit, which is a bit backstreet, but I had to go with it. Then attach it behind to the shock tower mount. And now this is how you lose as little fluid as possible. Crack off the line and be careful not to snap it. Loosen it, tighten and then loosen it again, and tighten over and over to break the rust free. Now take a chisel and a hammer to the clip. It will be sticky with rust, so just you need to chisel it apart. Then you can use pliers to pull it off. A few light taps with a hammer should free the line up. And now you can finish unscrewing the flare nut. Fluid will start to gush out at this point, so having the new line ready is handy for a quick switch over. You can then tighten it back up. Use a spanner on the bottom and a flare spanner on the top to tighten it together. Then replace the clip. And then obviously you need to bleed the brakes and get all that excess air out. I do have a video on my channel on how to bleed brakes. Now I'm going to be really honest with you guys, I'm not sold on these lines at all. I've been struggling for days to get them to sit nice without fouling or anything. On full lock one way they touch the hub, and on full lock the other way they touch the inside of the wheel. Why the hell do I work on cars? They just get painful every time. Cool, I'm getting fouling here, or if I run them across the top, they're fouling on here, they're fouling on the inside of the wheel when you're on the other opposite lock. I'm really not very happy with these lines at all. So guys, I found this is the best way to route these lines is actually behind the hub here. So angle this pipe down behind the hub and up and round. Annoyingly, I'm still getting fouling on my wheels. Now I have got a different size aftermarket wheel, so that might be part of it. And also I found different brands of coilovers have this mounting point sort of facing different ways, so I don't know if that's got something to do with the fact I'm still getting fouling. So yeah, I've still got to do some playing around. It's not ideal because I did sort of want to show in this video, you know, how these sort of felt while driving, but I can't for the moment. So yeah, basically that's probably the easiest way to route them. So yeah guys, that brings us to the end of the video. Not entirely happy with how it's ended up because I haven't been able to get out, and that's purely because I'm having trouble with some fitment. I'm still going to have to play around with them for a bit. Overall, they're a good quality product. I just can't get them to fit, but like I said, it might be because I've got different coilovers, different wheels. But yeah, they're fine for as they are. But I'm definitely have to keep playing with them a little bit longer. And I don't really sort of want to go in too much depth on this video because I've just been mucking around, moving it all around and that. But yeah, that is basically how you install braided lines on a 350Z. I hope you found the video enjoyable, guys. I hope you found it fun. I hope you can do it yourself. It's not a horrendous job, but obviously you just got to bear in mind that things will break, being a 22-year-old rusty Nissan. But yeah, don't forget to leave me a comment. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in my next video. Keep enjoying those rusty 350Zs and all your other modified cars that you enjoy working on, just like I do.